Sweet.
This is a great list of cars, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm disappointed I missed it the first night, but welcome to the commongear.com podcast. Each week, my good friend Jonathan Grabowski, Larson Way, we get together and we talk about some of the notable sales in the digital auction world. So, digital auction world means bring a trailer, cars and bids, and a few others scattered in there as appropriate. And we try to hit a theme each week in terms of why we're looking at these three cars in particular. All three of us rather are all a little bit Eurocentric, so we always tend to err on that side of things. But this week we're looking at three open top European cars. And so with that being said, we're going to jump right in and start talking about these three open top that really runs a gamut, but one of these was completely new to me. Like I just had never even heard of it. So with that being said, here's our first one of the night. It's a 2017 Mercedes Maybach S650 Cabriolet, no reserve auction. It went for 330,000, 1,500 miles. So basically a brand new car. It's absolutely ridiculous spec as all the Maybachs are, with zircon red metallic paint, these crazy, absolutely crazy looking wheels that are Maybach specific, and I mean all the other doodads that go on with a Maybach car. So it's got a air cap anti-turbulence front windshield airfoil, which I mean that had to have been like a $10,000 option. 7-speed automatic. Absolutely, these things, as much as they're loaded with opulence in terms of luxurious feature, they're also extremely powerful. So twin turbocharged V12. This, these seats they rival the best home furniture money can buy, and the opulence on display in a Maybach is just insane. So to tell you the truth, I didn't even really know about this model being in existence. I knew about the Maybach sedan that has been made famous with the likes of Tyler Hoover from Hoovy's Garage, who owned one for a while. But this thing, I find the Maybach so interesting because in some ways they're a little bit repulsive. Like they're just not like, I don't think it's like what you would sketch out if you were making your dream car. But at the same time, because you look at it and say, I know that thing is just like bonkers spec and it's like untouchable in terms of features and options. You're kind of like okay with it not being particularly attractive. And I don't know if it's because of the wheels or what it is, but I just wouldn't call it like an attractive car. But because it's just this ridiculously, opulent top. I keep saying opulent, but I mean, if I can't think of any other word that comes to mind, and the exclusivity factor is off the chart, you're just kind of like, whatever, it can be whatever it wants to be at this point. 330K, a lot of cars out there you could buy. And my final thought on the Maybachs is these things, despite all of the fanfare about them, I mean, to find them used, they have ridiculous depreciation relative to what they cost new. And that's always the kicker for me with these things. Like I get it. You say you bought one of these, yeah, top of the heap. No one's questioning your net worth. But why do their values plummet so much? Why aren't they coveted? After they've got a couple hundred miles on them. That to me is always like a WTF moment for a car like this, because it just says to me, compared to the model, the difference makes in models that like just never drop in value. Like the second they're not a new car, they're still almost as valuable as when they were new. The Maybachs never get there. So I can appreciate it for just being an off-the-chain luxury car that very few people will ever be able to afford to own. But I just don't quite get why you'd buy one when the secondhand market is saying, pass. What do you guys think?
You want to go
Well,
for it?
yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of on the same page with you there, Jeff. Looking at this thing, uh, I will say it's definitely not a beautiful vehicle. I mean, it is, but at the same time, you know, it seems like it has a lot of the same body panels and body lines, aside from the wheels. Especially that second picture, just looking at it from the back, it doesn't really have that presence and that capture the awe like some of those other. When some of those long wheelbase Maybach S550s roll in, or any of those long wheelbase sedans, they have some serious presence. I feel like this really doesn't. Um, I will say one thing that surprised me is you were kind of talking about how the value on these drops a lot. I think someone in the comments was saying the retail on this was 337. So even after 6 months, it held up pretty well. Granted, you know, it has no miles. And another comment on the value thing I kind of want to address. I think a big reason that we see these plummet so hard in value, even just a couple years after they're purchased, is this is the kind of vehicle where the owner and the person who's spending, you know, upwards of $250,000 on this thing new, you know, upwards of $500,000 in some cases for the sedans. It's something you order and you know, you seek out and you buy brand new. You know, what kind of person who's spending the money on this is on the secondhand market looking for, you know, 60, 70, 80K off?
Right.
I don't know. It doesn't totally capture all my enthusiasm, but I will say if you're the person who ends up buying this, it's something that you would enjoy to the fullest extent. I mean, look at the seats. The interior is so renowned and plush. It's just, you know, it's a very nice vehicle, but I think in this price range, you're kind of just, you know, trying to think out of the box a little bit, because it really isn't that. I don't know. I'm talking in circles. John, why don't you take it away?
I picked this just because when I was looking around, I saw the price this went for, and I was like, what? Who? Huh? And what kind of really, I'm not crazy about this, just like you guys. And it's kind of, this is the head scratcher car here, is in that, like, I didn't remember this car. And I think what you're seeing with Mercedes is also kind of like the Denaliing of the line of like, hey, everything's getting a Maybach right now. Jeff, when you searched Maybach, a bunch of different things came up. I mean, what separates this from the really fully loaded S-Class? Like, what are those massive differentiators between S-Class Cabriolet of this era? And it's got all, I think it's like a niche, it's a super niche product. Like, as in who's buying this? It's someone that, you know, they're into Maybachs, which is probably they're one of 10 people in the US that are probably into these cars. I mean, there's the rarity factor, of course. There's, you know, I think in this comments, there was 75 of these units stateside with only 10 of them in red. So there's that kind of rareness to it. But like, that doesn't make it I mean, we've seen other cars that are a lot rarer go for a lot less. So I think it's the Maybach thing, which it's a small group of people with a lot of money that can spend on these cars. But I don't, like, part of me thinks like 10 years from now, you could see this car for, you know, in the 5 figures, you know, on Bring a Trailer. Like, if someone, like, we could see this, like, hey, this Maybach that was sold 10 years ago for 330, it's going for, hey, 75 right now. And it's only got, you know, 5,000 miles on it. So it's like, it's like, where are we going with this? So this was the head scratcher when I saw the number, and I was like, we have to discuss this, just because it's a car that doesn't move the needle as like an enthusiast, I would say, but went for big money.
I think it is a rarity thing, because Jeff, if you go back to that page with all the Maybachs, it does kind of make sense. I mean, this is something I guess you won't see it again. You won't see something like this again. It's very hard to find. It's a rare spec. And, you know, it's extremely low mileage. But my point still stands. Look at some of those sedans, the 4-doors, the extended wheelbase. I mean, those things, like that 2020 S650, holy shit. When you want to talk about road presence and you pulling up with something that's, you know, like, whoa, I think that vehicle warrants the price tag, whereas that other one doesn't. But scroll through these pages, how many red ones do you see? You don't see any.
I'm gonna ask you guys this. looking at this page, I mean, when the Maybach first came out in like mid to late 2000s, it was a standalone vehicle. Now, if you look at that page, you're seeing a lot of other Maybachs. Do you think?
Look at this. Bid to 29,000. Jesus.
Wait, dude,
Hey,
that's sick though.
do you think the name is being diluted by putting a Maybach
Yeah, no,
the name on a
Mercedes,
lot of things?
yeah, Mercedes is. I don't understand the new Mercedes. The new Mercedes is, and I just qualify that as kind of mid 2000s and later. They're diluting everything that was special about that brand. They are slapping AMG on anything with a body kit and accessory level wheels. They seem to just, I mean, and the problem is because the consumer is being a clown. Like the consumer is saying, oh, I will pay a premium, especially that first buyer, right? I will pay a premium for this badge, which I know means something, but I don't really necessarily know enough to realize, well, I'm getting kind of gypped compared to what it used to mean. Like, I just feel like as much as this is kind of a clown show as it relates to these older Maybachs selling for the price of a loaded Camry, when it first came out, it was like a kind of a momentous occasion in Mercedes history where it's like, okay, they're reviving one of these, the most significant chapters in its history. But then, like everything else, they just tend to evolve into everything the Maybach now. I mean, it's all
That was a bad spec though, because
yeah,
I don't
but
know.
they denalied it. Like GMC has put the Denali like level on every single vehicle. It's like they've denalied the whole entire line.
Yeah, but it's still very exclusive. It's still a very exclusive club because the price of entries is like even that 2016. You know, how many of those are really around? How many do you see?
Yeah, it may be exclusive, but you're a sucker if you buy one of these.
Yeah,
things
like the van, for example, or even the GLS 600. Like those, like you're suckered into buying that.
Yeah,
yeah, I guess I agree, but you are kind of the big G if you pull off the fucking lot in one of these.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, Lars. I'm getting a little tired of this whole like, oh wow, that individual is just rolling in it because they spent. Yeah, but they're an idiot.
But not everyone's a car dude. But not everyone's a car guy, and they're never gonna know. They're gonna go to bed happy with all their fucking boys are gonna be like, yo.
There's an ass for every seat.
Yeah, they're not gonna. They're not thinking like, oh, I could have got a fucking whatever 458 Speciale.
Yeah,
they're not thinking that, and the money's disposable. $20,000 fucking timing chain. Oh, okay. Yeah, have Billy take it over to the shop. Anyways, what time is my meeting later? They don't care.
Right.
But I agree. But you have to. I'm thinking about it from the person who's buying it shoes, comfortably buying it. Look at that 2020 S650 twin turbo V12, fucking TVs, massaging chairs in the back, your table, the damn champagne cooler.
But getting back to this car, it's like why.
That's
why do you need that over a regular SL?
Look, Jeff, look at the fucking two-tone. It's real iridium. Oh my gosh.
You're not driving that. Someone's driving you in that.
Yes, 9 quarts of oil. Yes.
All right, yes, back to so John, to your point, I agree with you that I would rather have, so just for comparison, and I'm keyed up, so it's going to be a long one tonight. Let's just see what is an S6. Is there a Mercedes? Is there a Mercedes X6? Let's just say XL. See what comes up for the late model SLs.
Trying to compare a non-Maybach.
Okay, so what's the newest one we got here? Maybe they don't even make.
Or is that a CL? Is that based off a CL? That one?
Yeah, no, it was SL. I thought the same thing. I thought it was a C-Class.
What is it?
It does look like that shape does look a bit C-classy.
I mean, this is how pathetic this company has become. I don't even know what they currently call their it's the SL 550. Well, what this one for shits and giggles? This is probably the closest one I'm going to find on this page. So this is their. I mean, I guess this is the closest thing.
No, they make that.
It's going to be like a CL class, Jeff.
Model.
Yeah, Jeff, look at a CL class.
It's got to be one of these junkers.
Like it's almost like a hybrid SL S class slash
Well,
CL.
they're not showing the new gen.
Yeah.
Well, ladies
Yeah.
and gentlemen,
So anyway, maybe that's another driver here that
Yeah.
the Mercedes is what is
maybe
it? What year
maybe
is
that car doesn't exist. It's a
it? Might
one-off.
not, which could also be why this thing
Someone will school us.
Yeah. Someone
well, so what is that called? They call it a C217 S class coupe. So let's see if let's see if this brings up real quick, and
Oh,
then
okay.
we'll move on.
There you go.
Okay, so here's what we. All right, so this is
Okay,
probably
so it's four times the price. No, it's 5 times the price.
yeah, and I mean I get it. This is a twin turbocharged V8 versus a V12. It's far more plebeian looking. I mean, like you see these in traffic, but the seats aren't even that different though. Shit, look
No,
at
the
that.
interior is actually really not that different.
Yeah.
You know, but this is also we're talking about 40K miles versus 1,500.
Mm.
Like it's the other one's
But
basically.
still, what are you paying for?
It's yeah. You're paying for all the wacky creature comforts that the Maybach has.
Yes,
That's all you're paying for, I think.
but fine. I know we gotta move, but here's my final thought about. And Lars, I hear you, but if you're of the means, yeah, who the hell cares? But I still come back to the whole like, yeah, but shouldn't people with this kind of coin be savvy? Because this is a comment that gets made right here. Local Ben's used car manager wouldn't have offered half the top bid.
Yeah.
Like that's what kills me is that like if you're again you got the money, whatever, good for you. But then call if you call the dealer and say, hey, I want a lightly used Maybach cab. And if you're the kind of guy who can demand that kind of car, like that used car manager or whatever, he is going to spend the next like 72 hours. He's not going to sleep. He's going to find that car for you and probably sell it to you for like 200K. Like
how many of these are around?
I was looking. I couldn't find anything that was sold on BAT. That's why I was like, because I like to look.
I think you'd be best to find one.
Yeah.
I think you're going private, or
Does BAT say how many?
See if it says in. There's probably like 80 of them.
It said there was
75,
75, you mother
75 stateside. So you're going to like private hands.
All right. I'm gonna lose this argument. I'm ill-equipped, but I still just hate this car. So whatever.
Dude, there is an ass for every damn seat.
Yeah.
V12, that thing would rip.
But
all right,
let's move on to the car.
Let's move on to something more.
Oh my god.
89 M3 cab, real deal, factory car, not a conversion. It's been here in the US in 2010. Macau blue metallic over silver bison leather. Absolutely stunning car. Only 28,000 miles shown. I don't know if we're calling this verified or not, but who the hell cares? This thing is in mint condition. And talk about a killer color combination. Like as long as I've loved E30s, I have found the silver, the bison silver leather interior is one of the hardest ones to find. Like it's just, it's very elusive. And so to find not only an M3 genuine E30 M3 cab,
wow,
with these killer colors, killer interior, obviously fully European spec. They didn't sell it in the US, so you're getting all the goodies that go along with that. And this thing, it even loaded a step further because it's got headlight wipers. So like it's really just a tremendous spec. And like this to me is like this to me, I'm just like, geez, I would have spent 175K to get this car. It absolutely beautiful. I don't really have much else to say. I love this car. There's a guy in Providence who bought a replica of an E30 cab. You know, someone when the fenders were still available. I don't think the fenders are available anymore. Those fenders were still available. Someone retrofitted it to a standard US spec model, and even that car, I just stare at because it just looks phenomenal with the top down. I mean, this is to me is one of the top 5 most attractive convertibles of any kind ever made. I mean, this photo right here. I mean, geez, that thing is gorgeous. Just gorgeous. I have nothing else to add. I think it's if you had see to me, this is the car when we talk about there's only so many coming up for sale. This is the car you swing for the fences on.
Holy shit, dude. Honestly, actually, John, you go first.
I'm gonna get you guys really upset right now. So I just wanted to pre-warn you guys. So I love the car. I love the M3s are great. It's really cool that it's a Euro spec model. It's low mileage, which is really impressive because I feel like every time we look at an M3, it's usually a higher mileage M3 for whatever reason. It's got all the bells and whistles known by someone in the BMW community. My only thing I don't like the way the M3 looks in a convertible. It looks like one of those like kind of 80s like coked up tuner vehicles like that.
What makes it so awesome?
No, I just doesn't look right in a convertible, Jeff. Like I love the hardtop. It just doesn't look right in a convertible. It looks like some like 80s coked up, third party, tuning house decided to, convert it and put it together in the 80s decadence. It just doesn't look right in a convertible. It looks beautiful in the hardtop, but the convertible just doesn't move the needle as much as the hardtop does. But this is a great car. Other than that, it's fantastic. I mean, this broke the record for E30 M3 convertibles on Bring a Trailer by about $3,000. The last one went for $130K. So there's a market for these things for sure. It's in great shape. It's low mileage, as I mentioned, compared to a lot of the other M3s that we've talked about. And it's legit Euro spec convertible. So kudos to the buyer, even though I don't like the convertible version.
Yeah, you know what? He's right. Unfortunately, he's goddamn right, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? Because the only reason I'm going to play devil's out. I'm going to play good cop, bad cop. Ready? So here's bad cop. The only reason they made the M3, you got to remember, this is the beginning of the M. They were pissed off Mercedes was winning with their 190E, so they made a homologation spec race car, and they used the 3 Series chassis. That's where the M3 came from. Now you're turning it into this luxury cruiser item. You're taking away the hardtop, all the structural rigidity, and it's like, what's the goddamn point of it, right? But in the same token, this is some of the creativity that we saw in the 80s from these enthusiastic sports car makers like the real OG AMG and the real OG M Sport division. Not when everything had the fake badges like Jeff was talking about earlier. So this to me kind of encompasses all that motorsport enthusiasm as well as like the creativity of things they were doing back then. There's only 700 of them. This is the ultimate convertible. It really is. Does it look better in a hardtop? Absolutely. But I will say, if you were to use this recklessly, that would actually be the coolest thing you could do. And by that, I mean, like, Jeff, imagine you had a house on the vineyard and this is what you were rolling around in. This is what you took to dinner. This is what you were taking on the ferry. Like, obviously you take care of it, keep it well maintained, and you what do you call it? Ceramic coat. You do all that stuff. You take your precautions, but you use it like a convertible sports car should in a beach town in the summer. Got the damn beach chairs coming out the back. That would be probably the coolest shit you could ever pull as a car guy, is doing that. And the damn, remember, it's the first M product ever to be made. Ever. Would I buy it over an Evo? Absolutely not. An Evo M, an Evo version of this. They're, 150-ish. But dude, you got to admit it's cool. And Jeff, I'll be honest with you. You know me, E30 guy for life. You've been one longer, obviously, but I didn't even know Silver Bison. I've never heard of that ever. Yeah, is it on non-M3s?
Yeah, you can get it in a standard 325, I guess.
Silver. Yeah. I obviously know like
that is a nice interior.
Yeah,
I love the silver and the gray from them, especially in the E36 generation. I love that dove gray. I love a gray interior. It's so old school.
So fun little anecdote. When I was spending my weekends in salvage yards for fun, I found an E30 that had been wrecked and it had the silver interior. What I really wanted out of it was, and Lars will appreciate this, it had the premium sound boxes, the speaker boxes on the rear shelf, and because they color coordinated them, they were silver and they were very rare, and so I really wanted them, and I got them, and then
Oh, wow.
I went back to get the tweeters off of the behind the mirrors, the side mirrors, and I don't know, I left something on the dashboard, and this car had a broken windshield, and reaching in, I like just caught a piece of the glass and like cut my finger open pretty good, and I really liked the salvage yard, so I did not want these guys to know that I screwed up. So I had like my hand in my pocket. I was paying. They're like, "Oh, what's wrong with your hand?" Like, "Oh, nothing." And I got back to the car. Like, I mean, I just had like blood just like soaking through. And anyway, this was before we had kids, and so Callie, I got home, and she's like, I think I need to go to the walk-in clinic, and she's like, well, I hope whatever you're making off these things is worth the medical bill you're gonna have to pay to get it sewn up, which it wasn't. But anyway, sidetrack. So yeah, final thought on this. I kind of disagree with you, Lars. I definitely disagree. I mean, well, I agree and disagree with Robo. Like, I get what you're saying.
You
John, about
disagree with
the-
me on what?
I think
I wouldn't use it.
the
would
further
not use it.
the further generation M3 convertibles, I think, are more aesthetically pleasing. This one just
He does have a point, bro. It kind of looks like a pickup truck from the side. I'm
No,
like
I
going
think
back and forth, but it's
you're
still
all-
so cool.
you're
So
both
cool. What do you
really-
disagree with me on?
the way you'd use it, I would not use this like a little beach cart. I mean,
Who gives a shit, dude?
this is a
Jeff does.
I do. Yeah, no, this is
No, you don't. You're not driving it on the beach, but you're freaking. I take
No,
this shit to
no.
Block
Are
Island,
you
bro.
are you kidding
Let's
me?
hear- let's hear
The
what's
second
Jeff. Let's
I-
hear
Dude, this is like a
park
piece
is
of
in a-
art that needs to make appearance. It's like
No,
movie.
no. You do that, and some bozo with some bozo like me who's chasing the kid through a parking lot with like 3 beach chairs on his back is going to slam his door into that beautiful flared fender on the
Yeah.
front end, and then you're going to have to get
Anything can be fixed.
No, and then it won't be right. It's never going to be right. It's going to be evidence of body work, and you can't replace that fender. So, yeah, no, I'm not driving this to the beach. I'm
What would
going
you do?
out
You just drive it on a nice day.
I'm going out at 5 a.m. when no one's on the road, and I'll drive down to the beach then and catch the sunrise, and then come right back home and squirrel away from the rest of humanity. Yeah, that's how I use
I
it.
like the idea of taking out these rare things because
Yeah,
there's people like me out there who, if I ever saw someone in this, it would make my whole freaking day. I'd be freaking out.
oh, I know, but
So
I'd rather
like
just
the idea of whoa, there's one on the road, type thing.
see. That's nice, but bring your Maybach to the beach and let someone beat the shit out of that. That I don't care about. That's what that's for. So super cool. I can't remember what this last car is, but let's jump on over to that.
I
Oh,
can't
this
either.
thing.
Oh yeah. Huh.
All right. I have thought I'm gonna go last because I talk too much. So this is 2012 Audi R8 V10 Spyder, 23,000 miles. Talk about plummeting resale value. This thing sold for 80K.
What year is it?
12.
Bro,
2012.
dude, it's an 11-year-old car.
Just some yeah, that's true, but still, I have other. I'm not gonna. I gotta come back to this because I feel like this is this car. This was the car that started off with such great potential in terms of just being an iconic Audi, and for some reason, I don't know what happened to it, but it just didn't. It's kind of already just been bastardized. I mean, so many of them are modified. So many of them are owned by bros.
Terrible people.
And I don't understand why, because
Yeah.
functionally I think it's a great car. I think the design is one of a home run. I remember when the original R8 came out in the coupe form, I was just like, wow, that is that. It was kind of for me, and look at me, I'm talking anyway it was kind of like when the TT came out. I was just like, Audi, holy shit, talk about a home run. You guys, how you produce an actual sports car once every decade, I don't know, and how do you keep just getting it just right? So this isn't really a knock on Audi because I think it's a spectacular car. I mean, listen, I feel like the Cabriolet version always is a little bit not quite as special. Unless it's the E30 M3, but I don't know what it is about this car in particular, but the R8 just seemed to invite like a lot of bad like, or not even bad like, why would you modify it? Like, it's just such a pretty car. It was, you know, blisteringly fast right out of the gate. But then you start seeing like, the automatic, whatever it says, the DSG or something to that
Yeah.
effect. And, it's already been lowered. It's on some cheesy bronze wheels. And I don't know, it's got, limo grade tint. It's just like, you didn't need to do any of
It's
that.
kind of what you expect when we see people who mod like Lambos and Ferraris of this kind of.
Yeah. It's just, but the R8 just seems to invite it. I don't know why, but anyway,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's my thoughts on it.
All
You
right.
guys go.
I'll jump first here because I picked this one and I'm gonna end it with a question to you guys. So yeah, this one, it was 25,000 miles. It's got the V10, the auto, the quattro magnetic adaptive dampering. As you mentioned, Jeff, it's got the 20-inch wheels lowered. It's an honest car. There in the comments, there is some rust and underbody components. What's funny is someone posted in the comments of this car that it was the next day it was already on Facebook Marketplace selling for 98K, which was really funny. What was weird about this too, and one thing is I was thinking about as we just went for the M3, its presentation on these things like Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer. Like the impression I got from this listing was that, and from what the comments the buyer made, was that it's basically like the buyer didn't have the time to drive it, didn't really know much about the suspension, and just look at the photos. Where as we go, it's like someone that had the money to do it and to buy this car, and they bought it, and they're like, all right, I don't want it, I'm just going to sell it. But then you look at that M3 where it had really great presentation, which is really amazing. So like presentation really matters, I think, these things. And I think this is just one of those cars that someone has like, oh, I really don't like it, not really crazy about it, cool, whatever. And so the question I had to you guys is, I want to get your thoughts on the R8. And Jeff, you kind of led into this. So I almost look at it as like it was the answer to a question no one asked, in that there wasn't like a huge demand for Audi to do this. It shares a lot with Lamborghini, which is a VAG made of it. It's weird too, is you don't see a lot of these. Like, think about when's the last time you saw an Audi on the road? I mean, we have an Audi dealership, a couple towns over from us, Porsche dealership next door. There's some fairly affluent communities around us, and you never see these. You're more likely to see like a Ferrari, Porsche, or Lambo, and not an Audi R8 around. So it was like it was done just in the name of, hey, we have the ability to do this, let's do it. And it's just a head scratcher because the GT3 cars were amazing. The GT3 Audi R8s are historic, but this one just, as a production car itself, it never got to where it should be. I mean, it was always kind of the media darling. If you read Evo or anything else, they always praise the Audi R8, but like it just never got the iconic status that you think a car like this should.
Yeah. I'll comment on that in a second, but I have to say I'm absolutely so confused at this listing, right? Because the one we're looking at, yeah, the spec's not great. Well, the spec's great from the factory, but it's on the lowering springs, it's on the HRE wheels, it has the tint. It's really not desirable. You'd rather start with something fresh. And like Jeff said, it also calls into question of who owned it, right? This thing's got 25K on it. I'm on Can Bring a Trailer right now. I can find you 15 to 20 examples. Like, here's one right here. I'm gonna send it into the chat. Jeff, pull it up on your screen, right? This is an 11. This one's a 12, so it's only 1 year older. It has the V10. I just put it in the Zoom chat. It has the V10 and it's got 4,900
Yeah,
miles.
I just saw that one.
Bone stock, same color. It's got a tan interior instead of black. It only sold for how much more?
5,500. Yeah.
I can find you here, dude. Look at this: 11K mile, 6-speed coupe, 6-speed V10, 81K. Makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
I can find plenty of examples. So I think this listing, I don't know what happened here, if it was a passion purchase or just someone really liked the spec and it called out to them. But yeah, not a great call. I feel like for the buyer, you could have got a much nicer example. And 25K, I mean, I'm looking at stuff between 5 and 10K.
Mm.
Bone
Well,
stock.
even just
So-
on cars and bids. Here, look at this one. Mostly unmodified, 71.
See, that one is a V8, so that's why it's 70. You know, makes sense.
It's like the market doesn't know where it's
What to
Yeah,
do with this
even the
car.
6 speeds. I will say it's a 6-speed with the V10. That's actually a pretty good buy right there. And I'll also say the Audi R8 walked, so the Huracan and the Gallardo could run. I'll tell you that right goddamn now, because at the end of the day, it is the same. It's the same exact
same car.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I actually think I like the Audi R8 better. Like, I think I would actually prefer, if I, was given the option, theoretical, I prefer a 2023 Audi R8 V10 Plus over a 2023 Huracan whatever, just because I think it's a bit classier. I think it doesn't scream as much image, like, you pull up in a Lambo and you got a lot of tension, and it's almost too much bad attention, right? It's a little bit more understated, but it's still a supercar.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude. They were badass in 2008 when they revealed it. You guys know how they revealed it, right?
Mhm.
Iron Goddamn Man. It was his car, 2008
Yeah.
Iron Man.
Okay.
And I don't know, that was pretty cool. It was like turning over a new leaf for the brand. I get it. It is like not coveted, and it's not. I would actually argue that it's not iconic. I think the Audi R8, at least for me, I remember when it came out, I was super young, and it was like
It's immediate. It's
it was the
immediate
new
darling is what it
supercar.
is.
And an
Yeah.
iRobot, I think they had one. How old is iRobot with Will Smith?
I think that
Oh,
was
that's
like
actually
a
what.
yeah.
I think that's where you first saw in almost a concept.
Yeah,
form,
concept car.
But
Dude,
here's
so when it came out, it was like this futuristic thing to me, at least. I was 10 years old, but I do remember like distinctly that coming out.
Like,
Yeah,
they knocked
concept
out the
car.
park on design. On design, this car they knocked out the park because it's so different looking, and it's so
they had
unique.
this had a true gated shifter too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
that's a deal.
It's like the world doesn't know what to do with it. Like you
No,
don't
you're
see
right
you
about
don't
that.
you don't
It
see
is
a lot of
slept
them. I mean, we talk about pricing here. Other ones, it's all over the map. I think that's part of it. It's like, okay, we're like, we know kind of where Ferrari's going to land. We know where M3s are going to land. Like with this car, it's. I mean, what are we looking at in 5 years' time with these cars?
Yeah, we'll see. Also, I got a note. People, 20K, people reliably twin turbo these things. Give them 1,000 horsepower without cracking open the engine. Whether you like the idea of that or not, it's a testament to how freaking strong and over-engineered. I mean, so that means you can run 1,000 horsepower reliably, in stock form. It's a pretty bulletproof. It's a pretty bulletproof setup. So I don't know.
Yeah.
This one's a piece of shit with the tint and the gold wheels, the McDonald's spec. But I think otherwise, I like the idea of an R8, especially a 6-speed. I didn't realize a 6-speed was that cheap. The 6-speed Gallardo is like what, like $250,000 now, and a Mercedes.
Yeah.
Forget about it; they're $1 million. So,
No, there is something to be said 100% for the R8, but I agree with you guys that if I'm going to buy, I honestly love the idea of a first gen with the V8 and a 6-speed in a coupe. Like, I think
I
that's
kind of like the idea of that too, even though the V10 would be, I guess, better, right? But no, that 4.2, I think it revs to 8.
great engine.
Great
Great
motor.
engine.
Great motor.
Yeah, but I also echo your sentiments that the R8 is, and I'm kind of like, it's don't make me wonder, like, well, whose fault is that, right? Did Audi not do like a good enough job trying to kind of build a legacy around it? And Audi's a funny company. Like they don't seem to really celebrate their heritage as much as other brands do. And I think that hurts. I think it hurts them because when cars like this come along, it's just kind of a flash in the pan and it doesn't have staying power. It's not like we're still talking about the R8. Like, people don't kind of talk about it like revered fashion. Like, it's not like buying an old an old 911 or an old NSX or even a old RX-7. Like, it's like you get into one of those cars, and then it's kind of like buying a really nice pair of moccasins, if you'll let me have that metaphor, because it's kind of, everybody appreciates it, right? Even take away the performance side of it, people look at it and say, yeah, that car is just going to work for you. It's going to be everything you love about a sports car, right? And everybody around you is gonna look at it and say, yeah, that's something special. And Audi just does such a shit job of bringing their heritage into their brand. And I say this as someone who, over the past like 3 years, has bought more old Audis than any other make. And as much as I've sold most of them and kept one of them, like I get like, you kind of get into them like, holy shit, like this company was really kind of just throwing everything at the wall as it related to trying to build a performance car. And so you look at that history, like, and obviously what goes without saying, the Quattros of the 80s and the rally stages, the rally circuit, that's a story we all know and love, is just in terms of how amazing it was for Audi just to kind of roll in and start dominating some of the most challenging competitive stages in the world. So you look at all that and you're just like, man, if they had lightning in a bottle, if they could have just like been a company more willing to bring that into the present, then this wouldn't just be a supercar with no identity, which is what they've created.
Yeah.
Can I throw something in really, 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 really quick, guys?
Go.
Yeah.
100% true, right? But listen, I just had this thought, and it's actually, I would say it's a pretty good thought. Ready? Think about it. Audi is Volkswagen, right? What else is Volkswagen on? Porsche. What is the most car-centric enthusiast brand on the goddamn face of the planet? Porsche. It's at my ceiling. It's like Volkswagen Group, they dump fucking everything into Porsche pretty much. I mean, yes, they dumped it, dude. No one wants it because no one dreams at night of owning an Audi. They dream of owning a Ferrari or a Lambo or a 911, but it's Volkswagen Group, dude. They did a good job of it, just not on the Audi, I suppose. But they did it great with the Porsche, with all these GT cars, the GT2, GT3, the Cayman, the Boxster. I mean, that's an enthusiast brand.
I'm gonna go back.
Why make this car?
I'm gonna go back to Jeff. Jeff, you talked about Audi heritage, and the old slogan. I think it's still there. So it's Vorsprung der Technik, progress through technology. You saw that with the rally cars in the 80s, and the R8 was like the premier GT3 car in GT3 racing for a long time. And they probably took the technology, but they never took the marketing from that. I think that's part of it. Like,
what do you mean by the premier? It was the best. They
were flooding the Nürburgring 24. Like they would have like a 6-car factory team at Nürburgring 24 in Spa. True. And like, whereas like, Porsche and BMW would always kind of use that as a marketing tool, whereas Audi just didn't kind of take advantage of that marketing and kind of link that truck to the road marketing aspect, maybe the technology, but not the actual marketing piece of it.
That is a very, very, very true point.
Like you
always see them on the grid.
Yeah. And actually it's funny because now they're kind of pulling back from a lot of their motorsports activities at like,
the Audi R8's done. It's last year.
Yeah, R8's done. Even like I think I was reading even their US customer racing support is kind of finished.
RS6 was a flop. Yo, remember during COVID, quick side comment, remember during COVID when every fucking car was like 60K over sticker? Dude, I remember seeing the RS6 wagons. Stickers like 185, brand new, they were selling for under sticker. Under sticker during that COVID. Really? I'm not kidding. I would see multiple.
Wow.
During the COVID time, or a freaking, an E46 M3 was 40 grand.
Mm-hmm.
Where every base model BMW had a 4K over. I mean, that was crazy to see. Yeah, those didn't take off here.
Again, I don't think they market the cars well at all. I think I don't know what their deal is, but it feels like that's why I'm like, why are you building them? Why?
I will say though, even with all that being said, if you were like someone who came into money and you wanted a simple supercar, something just simple, I want a nice engine, nice drivetrain, I want that low slung, like Batmobile kind of look. You get one of these. I don't think it's a bad purchase. I don't think it's going to be reliable.
And anecdotally,
it's better than the Maybach to spend your money.
No,
you didn't know anything.
I was just going to say, the guy on mechanic on Martha's Vineyard who clued me into the S6, he and I were talking one day, and he said that he had a friend who was like, he was an entrepreneur. He built something in actually, I wish I knew what it was, but he built or prototyped the design for some sort of mountain biking accessory that took off, and then licensed it and blah, cashed out. But that guy went out and bought an RS6 wagon, and he was an engineer, so he appreciated obviously strong engineering and high quality engineering, but he wasn't really a car guy. But the RS6 just apparently spoke to him. He's like, I can put my bikes in the back. It's bonkers spec, bonkers technology, fast, whatever. Yeah. So like that, I kind of like think about like that archetype of a user or owner profile. It's like, well, that makes a little more sense, where they're really like the typical person walking in. And actually, that's the more I think about it, it actually makes total sense, because I think I spend a lot of time in the Audi Facebook groups for the vintage stuff, and like those guys never talk about the new Audis. Like you go into a BMW group that it's like let's just say an E30 M3 owners group or an E46 M3 owners group. Those guys there's always a good faction of them who will still say, I'm going to go put a deposit down on the new M3, right? They're just like, it's still hitting it's still stoking something for them in terms of whenever they're the new M car out, they're like first in line. The Audi enthusiasts want nothing to do with the modern brand. It's not like they're even buying a new A4 for their daily driver. So I think Audi has also realized they've lost those buyers. And so they're just making technologically interesting, performance to match, and they don't really care who shows up and buys it, which is why when it comes up second or third hand, there's not some, passionate Audi enthusiasts just waiting. It's like, I do not know a single guy in the S6 owners group who like ever like pipes in like, oh, I'm going to go buy an R8 today. Like, nothing.
It's probably people that are a lot younger, that enthusiast types.
Yeah, it's
who don't have the assets.
Look who's selling this car right now. Aziz Assad. It looks like he's 12. So whatever. Sorry to put you on the spot, Aziz, but I think it's just anyway. We can go on all night about owner demos and profiles. So I'm really curious. I think I know this one's out, but I'm fascinated to hear what you guys will be saying is your pick of the night. Lars, go for it.
Well, it's also, I want it to be noted that when we do pick of the night, this isn't the bullshit TikTok comment game. Well, I would take the Maybach and sell it and then buy. No, it's not about
resale. No, you gotta own it.
No, you own it.
It's about you owning the vehicle.
This is like the F, marry, kill of cars here.
And we can put aside maintenance costs for most of it. That's a non-negotiable, but it's not a sell whatever's the highest value. It would probably be that E30 M3, and by probably I mean definitely, without a question, not a single second thought in my mind. I would just enjoy driving it more. I think it would be cooler. You'd get the right attention. You'd get the right attention in that. All the right people would be giving you thumbs up. You get no bad attention, and only good, positive, caring attention in that. People who give you thumbs up would be really cool. R8's sick, but it's like, not no. E30, the E30. Imagine you pull up to Cars and Coffee in that, dude. It'd be so cool. If you just say you'd be the coolest.
Yeah, you're the guy at that.
I love the idea of having this car that's no one ever gets to see, and then you get to be the person that delivers the treat. It's like just a cool, really cool thing. Anyways, what do you guys think?
I'll go with you, Lars, going off the Cars and Coffee thing, because you're going to be the only guy at Cars and Coffee that's going to have a original, Euro spec M3 factory, convertible.
Ever.
I
No
think.
one's ever seen one,
as
ever.
as much as I don't like the look of it, it's an E30 M3. If anything,
Oh,
it's only going to go up in value. We know how great these cars are to drive and whatnot. So I'm going to take the E30 M3, even though I don't love the look of it. It's my pick of the night, and it's the best value too, I think.
I'm gonna go with the R8.
he likes the wheels, guys.
Yeah, it's that tint and wheels, Jeff.
McDonald's,
No,
McDonald's.
I actually I wanted to like have an honest conversation with myself and say like even with everything I've said here, and like I wanted to honestly feel like this was the Maybach was a car to own. Like and there's part of me that still wants like that to be true, but only if Mercedes hadn't like diluted the name so much. Like if this had
They haven't
what?
they haven't that badly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, Jeff. Like
I shouldn't open the door to this again.
you want it to be the car to.
Well, I wanted to not have the same seats as the goddamn base spec SL. Like that's what I want. I want this thing to have
you're right.
seats with, I don't know, like something that says, oh, if you can't get these in the plebeian spec Mercedes drop top. Like I wish it just had something else going for it. And I mean, when I look at the spec list, I'm like, yeah, there's not a Mercedes in the lineup you can't get these options with. So I mean, really, me being honest, like I want to say this is the more special car. This is the one we should want to own, but I can't because it's just not. It's just another trim level in the model hierarchy. So not the Maybach, it's the E30 M3 because we don't make anything that's cool anymore. And it's got bison and silver leather, which I just like to say over and over again. Like it sounds like you actually killed a bison to get it, which is awesome. So yeah,
silver, are they? No, they're brown.
there's a very rare type of bison that's silver. So
could you imagine? You guys think that's real? That's real, Jeff. We do that little personal loan thing where you self-finance. I can get one.
Well, see, that would actually be
look at that photo.
Cool. Yeah, it's an awesome car.
That's a cool car.
Blue convertible top, fantastic. Even a convertible top, I like the fact not black. So yeah, and then nothing else. This one of the three of these, this one will actually go up in value. So it's just a smart buy across the board. I love it.
Also, open roof ITVs.
Yeah.
And dude, it's got a gray dashboard. Holy shit! I've never seen that.
Yeah, it's actually a great point, Lars. I hadn't picked up on that.
Have you ever seen that? I've never seen.
That's cool.
So that makes me curious.
Wait, find a different. Yeah, see a better picture of the interior on that.
Well, I just want to see if this.
Damn.
Could you like go and like order a gray dashboard?
Dude, it doesn't even look like it.
Oh yeah, look at this. So this isn't.
It's not even gray, dude. It is like silver white. That one.
I just wonder if this.
Is that it? No.
I just want to see if someone talked about this. So real quick, because that's just a fascinating anecdote.
Yeah, go to a couple other pictures where we can see.
Does they say anything about? No, nothing about dashboard here. Yeah. So real quick, sorry.
Coolest thing I've ever seen.
Look at that.
That's cool.
Dude,
Yeah,
that's
and also, guys, it's such a well presented car. One of the things that matters that I really think about when we look at these listings is how something's presented, and the photos for this thing are just so well done.
Yep. Also, Jeff, check the see the oil pressure gauge instead of the miles per gallon. Pretty damn cool.
Hold on.
Oh, not oil temp. Oil temp. to get oil and coolant temp, which I love. That
Oh, I see.
instead of your
Yeah.
MPGs, John, on the non M3s, that little thing on the bottom tells you your gas mileage. Like, and on the M3, they give. I love that they give you the oil temp. It's just little stuff. 160 instead of 140 on the dash. 8K tack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, gentlemen,
that's a sick car, dude. That's what
That
we're.
is.
And John, great picks, man. Honestly, I mean, we went over like 30 minutes like we do every time, but this was a long one.
I knew you guys would get really excited about the M3 and
Also, what's the color?
and the R8. I was like, this is going to be a polarizing one. So
Yeah, no, they were good. They were good.
Macau Blue.
ooh.
Holy shit!
All right.
It's like purple.
It is. So this has been the commongear.com podcast. Commongear.com is the premier place to log your records, store your project updates, invoices, part receipts, all in digital format. So when it comes time to sell a car on one of these premier digital auction sites, you have a pre-built digital paper trail. So there is no question as to the scale of your investment and or the amount of work you have committed to saying that you've done to a certain car, which we believe will help you net a 10 to 20% increase in your sale price when it comes time to sell. So check it out. You can register for a free account today and begin storing and scanning your records immediately. With all that said, gentlemen, John and Lars, thank you for joining us once again for this podcast. I think this is episode number 29. And we've picked up some new subscribers this week. So thank you to all our new subscribers. And we hope to see you guys back here next week.